Yo, what's up, y'all? Good morning to everybody, man. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to the podcast with Soul. I want to give a shout out to all of my new subscribers, all the new followers. Thank you for following. Make sure you follow me on my Instagram, also the podcast with Soul. Got the fresh, dope, brand new cup of coffee. Today is Tuesday. What is it, February 25th or something like that? Let me get the date because I want to make sure I get this right. Tuesday, February the 25th. Astigmatism in My Soul, Gumby Publishing, the podcast with Soul, Sean Xavier Gumby Jr. and myself, Sean Xavier Gumby Sr. do not wish to slander, libel, or defame anybody as it relates to the content of this video and the content that I've been covering over the last 2 weeks. Yesterday I made a mistake, and it's wrong for a couple of reasons, and I'm gonna go through them with you right now, right? So yesterday I did a video and I said that Big Meech did not do third-party cooperation because the Northern District of Georgia doesn't allow it. That is wrong. And let me tell you how, right? Number one, I had a phone conversation with Keith Cromer Saturday for about an hour and a half, hour and 37 minutes to be exact. Excuse me. And while we were talking, I asked him about third-party cooperation. Did Meech do third-party cooperation? He told me, he said, Sean, in the Northern District of Georgia, third-party cooperation is not allowed. Right? Now, this is the thing. Keith Cromer was eventually terminated from the Atlanta DEA. I can't remember what year, but I know that when everything went down, we're talking about 2014, 15, 16, whatever the case may be. And maybe during his era of when he was the special agent in charge and his relationship with the U.S. attorney from Atlanta, maybe they had a unwritten policy or whatever that they didn't do third-party cooperation for whatever reason, as far as the cases that as it related to them, right? But this is how I was wrong, because third-party cooperation is allowed and done in other jurisdictions across the country. Now, whether a particular U.S. attorney decides to utilize that as a means to get a prosecution, that's on them. But if they're able to do third-party cooperation in Montana or third-party cooperation in Arizona, then they could do third-party cooperation in Rhode Island, they could do third-party cooperation in Alabama, because it's a federal system, it's not a state system. And somebody has sent me information that expressly shows that they have done third-party cooperation in the Northern District of Georgia. I got this sent to me last night. So that's where I was wrong. Let me tell you the second part where I was wrong. In my mind, this is where I went wrong. In my mind, on August the 5th, 2012, which is when all of the calls came in between Suarez, Cuffy, and Tammy Cowins. Tammy was in Atlanta, and she was under the, what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Her controlling agent was Keith Cromer and he was out of Atlanta. So in my mind, not thinking, I assumed that being that she was in Atlanta, the calls came into her while she was in Atlanta and Keith Crum was in Atlanta, that Atlanta had jurisdiction over, the Northern District of Georgia had jurisdiction over Meech's case, and that was wrong. That was a mistake I made because I didn't do my homework, right? I didn't do my homework. And I forgot to think it through that after August the 5th, 2012, when all of these calls came in, DEA in St. Louis got on the phone. Cromer got on the phone with DEA St. Louis, and they asked him, and this is in his testimony, is it all right if they, DEA St. Louis, talk to Tammy Cowins? And he said yes. And he patched her in on the phone. And he says once he patched her in on the phone, he let it, good morning, he let it go, and DEA St. Louis picked it up. And then he was done with it. And this is another thing that I was wrong. And I immediately knew I made a mistake because Cuffy's case was prosecuted in the Eastern District of Missouri, and Meech, Big Meech's case was prosecuted in Michigan. I think it's the Eastern District of Michigan, Detroit. So Atlanta and the Northern District of Georgia had nothing to do with anything. And that's where I made my mistake. But you know what? I'm entitled to make a mistake. I'm entitled to make a mistake. You know why? Number one, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Number one. I'm not a journalist. I'm a YouTuber, right? And I inserted myself into this situation because some people that I knew grew up with Cuff and told me about this case. Number two, I'm a human. I make mistakes, right? I'm 55 years old. I'll be 56 in 2 weeks. Yeah, good morning. 1969? 69. I've been making mistakes for 55 years. I'll be 56 in 2 weeks, and I'm gonna keep on making them. And I remember when I caught my fair case, and I was in a park. I was so depressed, I was so hurt that I had to leave my son and go to prison. My whole life had got turned upside down. The feds had a magnifying glass and a flashlight up my ass. I had lost $1.2 million net worth, my real estate broker's license. I had lost everything and still had to go to prison. And I was so embarrassed and I was so ashamed that I was in this park one day and I was talking to this he was a perfect stranger. And I was telling him my problem because I was too ashamed to share it with anybody else that I knew. And I told him, and he says, Sean, I'm 81 years old. And he said, let me tell you this. You're gonna stop making mistakes only one time. And I said, when is that? He said, when you dead and they put you in the ground. He said, but as long as you alive, you're gonna continue to make mistakes. And This was an 81-year-old man telling me this. So I made this mistake. I'm not gonna die no time soon. My best days are in front of me. Take care, have a good day. My best days are in front of me. I got a lot of life to live. And I'm gonna make more mistakes. And I'm gonna learn from them. Number 3, the mistake I made was not researching the information. Just taking something that somebody told me. And the reason I ran with it is because I'm on the phone with Keith Cromer, who's a central figure in this case. And the fact that he told it to me, I took off with it. But what I should have did, and that was a mistake, what I should have did was went home and corroborated that information, verified, done the research. That was a mistake that I made. And that's it. That's it. You know? I fucked up that video. And that's okay. I've done what, 19 videos? One bad video out of 19. It still gives me a grade of 95. That's pretty good. That's an A. And I learned from this. I learned from this. And my man Black called me last night. My man Kev called me last night. And this is my man that grew up with Cuff. And he said, Sean, he said, man, that video you put up, man, that video ain't right, man. And I told him, I said, yeah, man, I made a mistake. And he said, yeah, you did. This is my main man I did time with in the feds. He said, man, yes, you did. And he said, you should have verified that. Another person sent me an email and told me the same thing. Sean, that was a mistake. You should have verified that with me. You should have bounced that off of me. And he was right. And I never ducked away from it. And I said, yeah, man, I made a mistake. And I was thinking about how do I, hold on, y'all. How do I backpedal, right? I'm not taking the video down because I ain't that kind of nigga. I don't throw rocks and hide my hand. I threw a rock, I broke the window, I broke it, I'll pay for it. How much does it cost? And I was thinking, how do I spin this? How do I? And then I said, Sean, in my soul, I said, Sean, ain't no other way to do it but to tell the truth and be straight, right? Because integrity is still in style. Authenticity is still in style. And I didn't sleep last night, and I said, tomorrow morning I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna make a video, and this is that video. My background, I got a bachelor's degree in accounting from Morris Brown College in Atlanta, Georgia, and I got a master's degree in finance from the New Jersey Institute of Technology in Newark, New Jersey, and I did time in the feds. I'm not a journalist, I'm just a YouTuber. And if Dan Rather, world-renowned journalist, and Brian Williams from NBC, world-renowned journalist, can make mistakes in their journalism, being seasoned journalists for decades, then surely I can, having jumped into this journalism thing in the last, 2 weeks, 17 days, or whatever the case may be, 18 days. But I've done excellent work. I've done excellent work. I've done excellent work on the 18, 19 videos that I've done. And I ain't gonna quit, and I ain't gonna give up. I'm gonna stay involved with this case. I'm gonna redeem myself. If there's any redemption needed to be made, and I'm gonna keep on pushing. But I'm gonna be cognizant, Sean, when you get information at this point going forward, check it, double check it, and triple check it. Verify before you jump out there in that deep water and say something that ain't right. And let me say this. There's no need for y'all to be DMing me on my Instagram, congratulating me when I do a video that caters to your narrative. And then you DM me a contrary position, an opposing position when I do a video that doesn't fit your narrative. I don't care what you think, right? About who is what, who you with, what side you on, are you pro Cuffy or you pro Meech? I do not care. So please stop congratulating me when I do something for you and criticizing me when I don't. I really don't care, right? I'm not your friend. You not my friend. Okay? All I'm doing is presenting the information factually from the actual court documents. And whatever they say is what I say. And I'm learning on the job training. I'm learning on the fly. So please stop DMing me and all of that. I don't really care, man. The information is what it is, and that's what it's gonna be. And like I say, I ain't gonna quit. I ain't gonna give up. I'm still gonna keep pumping with this case, and I'm gonna do a better job going forward. I'm gonna be more careful. Appreciate y'all. Sean G, Podcast from Soul. It don't never stop. Peace.